All right, hey, week 4, we're getting into the semester, kind of into it now. Hopefully everybody's still doing all right, and we've got our first exam this week. So let's go through that real quick. First off, before you take the exam, I know I mentioned this last week, but we had our practice exam where everyone was supposed to go through just to make sure they followed the instructions and that they could use Respondus Lockdown Browser. So that's open again. Before the test, like let's say you didn't take the practice exam, try to take it before you take the real test. That way you can get a feel for how the class is going to go and read the instructions. That's the important part. If you did take the practice exam and you want to retake it, you can do that now. If you haven't done this in a while, check your messages, because for a lot of you, you might have made like a little mistake, like you didn't have a good picture of your student ID, or I'm trying to think, just something small like that. If that was the case, I sent you a message and I gave you some feedback on you need to make this change. You need to do this on the real exam. So just make sure you pay attention to that. For a few of you, you made a big mistake. So something like you did not record your environment video. So remember, that's where you show your desk or table surface and a 360 of your environment. You have to do that. That's required for the exam. So if you did your practice exam and you just skipped that part, what I did was I sent you a message and said you need to redo your practice exam. Make sure that you fix, and like I listed whatever issues there were. All right. So just check that if you haven't done that yet. So our exam is Monday and Tuesday, so that's going to be the 7th and 8th. The college is closed on Monday for Labor Day, so I wanted to go ahead and make it available because you might be off work and that might be the best time for you to take that exam. But just a heads up, if you do take it on Monday, if you need anything from me or if you need help, I'm not going to be in my office. I'll try to check Blackboard once or twice, but I'm off too, so I'm not going to be doing that much work on Monday. So if you do run into any issues, send me a message and let me know. And worst case scenario, Tuesday when I come back in, I'll get back with you and we'll have time to figure that out too, because the test is open for those 2 days. All right. Advice I would give you is plan, make a plan for when you're going to take this exam. Don't just say I'll get around to it, because if not, it's like close to midnight on Tuesday and you're cramming trying to get everything ready. Just make a plan, stick to it, get it out of the way, and you'll have it over with. It's timed, so you got a minute per question, and there's 60 questions, so it's an hour for this exam. Don't let the time limit scare you. Like seriously, 95% of students are finishing these exams in like 20 minutes or so. So as long as you know the material, that's way more time than you actually need. All right. After we take the exam, you got a couple more assignments. So I've got a discussion board assignment, and you can get more information. You can either go to the tab that says discussion board, or if you'll go to the My Tasks section in Blackboard, I gave you like a little bit of a bigger description there. But what this is, one of the downsides of online classes is we don't get to have discussions. We don't get to talk back and forth with each other. So the way I'm trying to do that is a discussion board assignment. Every week that we have an exam, I'm going to post most of the time it's going to be a video. It might be an article for you to watch or an article to read. So you need to read through that. And then you're going to leave a post about something you found interesting about that video, or a summary, or you can tell me how that related to something we talked about in class. But just leave a thoughtful, well thought out post. And then once you've done that, so that's the first thing, leave your own post. Number 2, you need to respond to another student's post. And hopefully we can, like I said, get a little conversation going in the class for that. So that's due on Sunday, September 13th. It's 10 points. That should be 10 easy points for you to get just for doing that. And then last one is our second lab is on invertebrates. So this is actually our first dissection lab we're going to do. You had classification of species last week, which was kind of an introduction, but there wasn't a lot of hands-on stuff for you to do. So on this one, because we're still dealing with invertebrates and simple organisms, a lot of it is going to be microscope images that you're going to look at, and then you have to label different parts. The last thing you're going to do, though, is you actually have to do an earthworm dissection. So we're dissecting an earthworm. Later on, we're going to do some more complex things like fish and sea stars and I'm trying to think, frogs, things like that. But in this one, just an earthworm is all you got to do. It's a pretty simple dissection. You take the scalpel and then just split it. But when you do that, you're going to have to peel back, open up, and then in your lab kit, you have a dissection guide that's going to tell you where to look for certain structures. So here's the big thing, and this is big for all of our dissection labs that we do. You have to prove that you actually did the lab. So you're going to take a picture of your dissected organism. And when you read the instructions, it'll tell you what to do. But you'll take a picture. In each of your pictures, what you need to do is get a Post-it note or a small scrap of paper or something like that. You're going to write your name and the date. I don't know why I'm making you wait for me to write the name and the date, because you know what your name and the date are. But piece of paper with your name and the date, and that needs to be in your picture. Like, so if you got your earthworm dissected, right to the side of that, you're going to have a piece of paper with your name and the date. All right, you're going to have to do that to get full credit for the lab. All right. So because this is our first dissection lab, it's really easy. Like, you upload the picture, and then when we're using HOL Cloud, you're just going to click on the space on the picture to label those parts. So it's pretty user friendly. But since this is a new kind of a lab, it says to give yourself 3.5 hours to complete this. Hopefully it won't take that long, but what I'm saying is give yourself even longer than that. Like, set aside 5 hours or something like that, just in case. I don't think it's going to take that long, but I'd much rather get finished a lot earlier than I thought than, miss the due date. You can see it's got a table with the material that you need. Most of this is pretty straightforward. So it says the textbook is optional. I think everything you need to know is going to be in the introduction and that dissection guide. But if you have a textbook, you can use that to look up some information. Camera, smartphone, some way to take a picture of your dissection. Paper, pencil, soap, tap water, distilled water. You're going to use distilled water to kind of clean up a lot in this class. So just next time you go to the grocery store, pick up a gallon for like $1, and that'll last you the whole semester. It should. It says bleach or some type of a cleaning product just to clean up your space when you're done. And then if you've got some type of a piece of plastic, I know your lab kit had like a little cushioned pad for you to do your dissection. It's good to have some type of something underneath that pad. All right. So that's it. Again, test is the big thing, but that's going to be early in the week, Monday or Tuesday. So as soon as that's done, go ahead and do the discussion board. Shouldn't take 20 minutes at the most. And then just set aside some time later in the week to do your dissection lab. If you need any help, if you have any questions, let me know, and I will get back with you. Thanks.